Okay, let's take a look at how we add a new light from a light preset. And there are 4 ways you can do this. So the first is to drag and drop directly onto the canvas. And then it adds the light. The second is to drag and drop onto the model, and it will use the light paint mode to position the light when it's dropped. The third way is to drag and drop the light in the light list. The light will be added to the top of the list, and the light will be positioned from the position that's stored in the light preset. So this one was stored in this central position. So let's move that and just put that here on the model. And then the fourth way is to simply double click. So if we go and find some HDRI maps and we double click, it will add that light to the canvas, and again it will be in the location stored in the preset. And in the case of these HDRI maps, we have them positioned centrally, so they come in nicely positioned when you create them by double clicking. So that's the 4 ways that you can add light presets to your lighting design. Drag and drop onto the canvas, drag and drop onto the render view, drag and drop onto the light list, or double click on the light in the presets panel. Okay, let's see how we can save our own light presets. So I'm going to make a light, and let's load an image from the desktop, this fire image. Now we're given the option to convert this into a TX file, which I'm going to do, and they're going to save that on the desktop. Okay, and I'm going to change the blend mode to add, change the color profile to sRGB, and we'll just press play and have a look at this on the kettle model. Turn down the brightness of the background. Okay, so this is looking good. I like this fire light, so I'm going to change the name of that to fire light. And right, so we're ready to save this as a new light preset. So to do this, we either go create light preset, or we right click and create preset. So the create light preset panel's opened. Let's give it a new tag, and we'll call this fire. There's a tag, just do fire, and then we will name it fire light 1. We could add a tag from this list, but there's nothing that really matches and is worth tagging, so I won't do that. So let's just press OK. So what happened there is this texture file was processed and added to the user presets textures. So let's go and find that light by looking for the tag fire, and there we go. Drag and drop this on the model, and we've got our new light preset, as easy as that. And if we look here, we can see that the location of that is in user presets, lights, textures, and yes, we ingested that image and it's now part of the HDR Light Studio user preset library. So that is how you save your own light presets. Let's take a look at all the different light types that ship with HDR Light Studio as presets, and you can see here that there's a huge list of tags for those lights. So let's just take a quick look at those tags and what type of lights they are. So you can see here that most of the lights are image based of one kind or another, whether it's HDR photographs or other imagery. So we'll take a look at those first. In total, there's 398 images shipped with HDR Light Studio. We've got a wide range of HDR Studio spotlights, softboxes, tube lights, umbrellas, tracing paper lit from the back or the front, windows, light tents, backdrop scoops, light trails, soft lighting effects, plus many additional lights like arrays, fast blurs, zebra patterns, etc. We also have 101 HDRI maps courtesy of HDRI Haven, both exterior and interior. We have cloud photographs to add to your skies. And then now let's look at the non-image based presets. Okay, so we've looked at all the light types based on images. So the ones we've got left are gradient background, which I'm looking at now. And it's as it says on the tin basically. I double click on here and we have 3 different kind of background lights based on 3 different gradients. So now we're looking at the spherical light presets, and I'll just double click to apply, and you can see we've basically got a gradient, a linear gradient going from this bright white through to darker and then coming back with a bit of brightness. This is wrapped around spherically, the mapping is spherical, so where I click on the model, that's where the light starts and then it wraps all the way around to the other side, and it creates a really nice kind of soft lighting effect. So let's drag and drop another one. So that's the second type. And then the last one is more of a kind of IES feel to it, where it's not totally smooth in terms of the ramp. So if I open up that ramp there, you can see we've got these little bumps in the ramp, and it creates this kind of IES style of lighting. So that's the spherical lights. Okay, so these are our spherical filter presets, and if I drag and drop this on the model, they are basically a color gradient with blend mode color and mapping spherical, and where I click on the model is basically the start of this gradient, and it wraps all the way around the sphere to the other side. So we use these to kind of create color filter. So if I drag it to the top, I'm filtering the top and making kind of coloring it red through to the blue at the bottom, and that's what these spherical filters are. So I'll just delete that light and we'll drag another one. So this makes it kind of warmer lighting on one side through to cooler on the other. So that's the spherical filters. Here are the synthetic presets, and these are a range of lights based on the procedural content we have in HDR Light Studio. So if I drag and drop this light, we can see that it's based on a bulb. I'll scale it to be a bit larger on the model. And then to cut it in half on the alpha multiply, we have a linear gradient, and then it's this alpha ramp which decides where that light is being cut and then how soft or hard the edge is depending on the settings on this ramp. And this light is on a similar theme with slightly different settings. We've got a light here based simply on a bulb, and the setting that we've played with here is the bulb width. So normally that's set to 0, but if you kind of make that wider, you can create kind of a tube light. And if I go to the alpha ramp and we have a look at that, we've got the fall off that looks like this, and that creates that kind of harder light that then falls off. So it's a bit like a tube light on a ceiling really, with the light falling off to the sides there. We have another light which is a variation on the same theme with different settings. We just have a circle of light which is a bulb, and then we have changed the ramp so that we have a big brightness here on the ramp, and then we can change the settings to decide whereabouts, how big that ring is, and then how soft the brightness falls off on that ring by playing with the settings on this ramp. We've got a zebra pattern here, and this is made with the alpha ramp on a gradient, and then to soften the edges in the other direction we've also got a gradient, and then we can control how soft those edges are. Looks like we've got another bulb here, and then the appearance of this bulb is controlled by this ramp here. So it's kind of a fake kind of spotlight that's totally procedural with nice soft edges. Some more lights based on bulbs, and then just a soft cool light and a soft warm light. So that's our synthetic presets.